Hi, I want to talk about software compatibility on Windows on ARM again. Recall that Windows on ARM is Windows 11 for ARM-based PCs. So that'll be a PC running a Snapdragon CPU, or it might be an Apple PC. And there's been a new announcement just recently at Computex for a new platform from NVIDIA and Microsoft called the NVIDIA RTX Spark, which is a whole new family of PCs, right from workstations right down to laptops that will be running Windows on ARM on an ARM-based NVIDIA PC. So there are two issues for compatibility. The first is the Prism emulator, which converts x64 code into ARM64 native code to run on an ARM64 CPU. So the Prism emulator was updated a while ago, in the last 6 months or so. It now supports AVX2. There are still things that it doesn't support, but it is now very, very good. And the vast majority of software, I think, is now going to be compatible using that emulator. So thumbs up to the Prism emulator. But there's a second issue, and that issue is graphics. So on Windows on ARM, it doesn't have graphics drivers in the same way that you would have on a Windows 11 system on an x86 processor. So basically the only API, as I understand it, that it supports directly is DirectX 12. And in order to support other graphics APIs like OpenGL, it uses a translation layer, which translates those API commands into DirectX 12 commands as your program is executing. So there's an application. It's called the OpenCL, OpenGL, and Vulkan Compatibility Pack, and this is the translation layer which converts OpenGL code to DirectX 12 code when you're running Windows on ARM. That application is delivered to your PC via the Microsoft Store. My problem is that in mid-May 2026, that app was updated and support seems to be broken. So I'm just going to play you a little video of my software running on Windows on ARM that demonstrates this problem. So we have ProRaster Scientific running. I'm opening a data set. There it is. We can zoom in, zoom out. Everything's fine. It's being rendered using OpenGL and orthographic projection, but as I resize the window, you can see that the viewport doesn't seem to resize. The projection is changing, but the viewport doesn't seem to be getting reset. So now I've got a 3D algorithm and got a 3D view here. Firstly, you'll see there's a problem when the window was off screen. Now resize the window and you get the same kind of problem where the viewport is not getting resized along with the rest of the window. Now, that never used to be a problem. It is now. Because that app is delivered via the Microsoft Store, you can't roll it back. So we're relying on Microsoft to fix this problem. And just a note, that app is based, I believe, on an open source library that you'll find in GitHub called Mesa 3D. Now I can go and grab the latest binaries from Mesa 3D and I can use those binaries in my software and it will fix the problem. So it looks as though there is a solution out there. The problem, I don't know whether it's that Microsoft is using an older version of Mesa 3D and they just need to update, or whether they've got a problem at their end of their software. But it's certainly an issue and it needs to be addressed, particularly because it sort of feels as though Windows on ARM is the future of Windows. Microsoft are pushing it very, very hard. And with this new NVIDIA announcement, I think, that's very important for the future of the PC. So Microsoft, get your translation layer fixed.